Why they hate blacks in America so much. The white power structure. We're the only non-white people in the country who cannot be sent home. Right. You cannot be deported. Slavery destroyed your cultural, psychological, and intellectual connection to your ancestral homeland. If the Ghanaian get on your nerve, he go back to Ghana. If the Puerto Rican gets on your nerves, he go back to Puerto Rico. If the Afro-Cuban gets on your nerves, he or she go back to Cuba. If the Chinese get on your nerves, send them back to China. If the East Indian gets on your nerves, send them back to India. If the Arab gets on your nerve, send them back to one of the Middle Eastern states. But when American Africans get on your nerves, where do you deport us to? Most American Africans are so brainwashed, they think they're American. So you cannot deport them because this is what they identify with most. So in other words, the white man created his own problem, which makes it almost impossible to deport us. So the only way to get rid of us is a systemic system of racial genocide. And that's what they're using.
The world is so crazy and this world is so unfair. And things like this weekend where people will argue back and forth over a word when life is not guaranteed for none of us. And I continue to talk about systemic oppression and black mental health and how people in the society don't give a fuck about people who look like me. I've had one of the worst weekends of my life. And you white people want to get mad over a word rehoming. I lost my uncle who got hit by a white person in a hit and run. No one cares about black people in this country. So as I'm sitting here fighting huge humans over a word that I chose to use of rehoming, and I'm trying to make my mental health better, people are killing my family, a family that I didn't even get to be with because this same system took me from them for being poor. I am so done. I miss my uncle. My uncle came to live with me after my mom and my sister died in a car accident. And he struggled with substance abuse, and he struggled with being on the street, and he struggled with mental health, and he struggled with everything that black men like myself struggle with, only to be taken off of this planet by someone's useless, just meaningless act. In the last 4 years, I've lost my mom, my sister, my auntie, my grandpa, and my uncle. I can't lose anything else. Not to mention 6 platforms on this stupid-ass app that I've constantly had to rebuild because no one likes me talking about race or telling the truth. I am so done, I'm so done, I'm so done. The next time you feel like addressing a black person or holding them accountable for using the word, just understand that we're going through things, and our whole families for generations have been going through things that y'all will never understand. And no, I'm not okay. And no, I'm not going to be okay. Because I know even after today, I still have to live in this fucking world as a black man and deal with people who don't even care if I'm alive or not. So I would say shine your light, but there's no more light to shine.
White people are never, ever, ever going to give up white supremacy willingly. And that's because of the consequences that it would cause if they gave it up. And I'm not talking about mean words related to race. I'm not talking about hurt feelings. I'm talking about systemic white supremacy. White supremacy is all about control of resources. And these resources could be labor, they could be territory, they could be the resources on that territory, like oil or cobalt. It's also about power, legislative power, economic power, cultural power, or influence. And all these different facets of white supremacy have worked together for hundreds of years to put white people in the place they are now. White people are 14 or 15% of the world population. They control 60% of the wealth. In the United States, white people are 60% of the population and control 84.5% of the wealth. Even if you cut out the top 1%, the median household income for white families is $205,000 a year. For black people, it's $44,000 a year. Black people in the United States are about 16% of the population. In 1865, they held 0.5% of the wealth. In 2023, they held 4.2% of the wealth. Africa is 17% of the world's population, but holds less than 2% of global wealth. And I'm bringing up Africa because white supremacy is a global system. And to end global white supremacy, it's necessary to remove the control that white people have over territory that they've taken through white supremacy. A lot of people will conflate race with class, but it's not the same thing at all. In fact, for the territories that are under European occupation, the problem is a race issue, not a class issue primarily. From the perspective of the invaded, when Europeans invade a territory, is it only the rich Europeans that are the problem? No, it's the poor Europeans as well. Let's say you got rid of all the billionaires in Australia. From the Aboriginal Australians' point of view, is the problem over, or are the people that invaded his land still occupying his land? I feel like the reason why people say no war but class war is because the other types of oppression are systems that benefit them. Class is the way that white people are oppressed as a race. Racism is the way that benefits white people as a race. So it makes sense to me that they want to get rid of class instead of talking about race, or they think that getting rid of class will also get rid of race. If we say we want to end white supremacy, but white people will still have the things that they got through white supremacy, then what has really changed? When you stop a thief that is stealing from you, do you let the thief keep what he stole? Of course not. So let's talk about what would happen if the United States redistributed funds equally among the people in the United States in a vacuum. White median household income, $205,000. Black median household income, $44,000. If you redistribute the wealth, these people come down. The average is like $128,000. That would be a huge jump up for black people, but it would be a huge drop for white people. Then you have to consider how the United States gets that wealth in the first place. The United States is 4% of the population, holds 35% of the wealth. So the wealth that the United States has is based on stealing from other people. If you globally redistribute the wealth that the United States has 4% of the wealth. That's a drop of 30%. What would the United States look like then? If you don't want that to happen, then you have to allow the United States to keep doing the evil things that it does all around the world to maintain that percentage of wealth. It's also the same problem as earlier. If the white people took this land, but they get to retain it after white supremacy ends, then how is white supremacy really over? It's not. Also, if we say we want to end white supremacy, but after white supremacy ends, non-white people are still under the control of white people, either legislatively or economically or culturally, then white supremacy hasn't really ended. Now globally, Europeans are 16% of the population and hold 60% of the wealth. And we all know that they haven't got that amount of wealth by being nice to anybody else. They've stolen it. They've murdered hundreds of millions of people to get that. Through white supremacy, Europeans have direct territorial control over North America, parts of South America, New Zealand, Tasmania, Australia. They have neo-colonial control over some territories like South Korea, Ukraine, obviously, a number of African states. And through economic warfare or subterfuge, some Europeans control resources and territory outside of Europe, like the Swiss with their company Glencore, which controls 70% of the DRC's cobalt, or the French with their company Total Energies that dominates West African oil. Not to mention the Canadians, who are famous in non-Western media for human rights abuses related to mining camps. So what would happen if these Europeans, who have been pillaging the world for hundreds of years, lose control of the things that they've taken and lose the ability to profit off of the evil that they've done? Western Europe would turn into a cultural backwater. It wouldn't be anything. The basis of its wealth is the exploitation of non-European people. And if you remove that exploitation, there's nothing left. Now, some white people might say to me, well, why can't we all just work together? Why can't we have a global system where we all work together for the benefit of humanity? And that sounds reasonable. But I just don't see the incentive for the global majority to work together with the Europeans who have been oppressing them and contributing labor to the Europeans any longer. Like, how much more labor, how many more resources do you think the Europeans deserve after what they've done and are doing? If you were a slave and you just got freedom, would you work together with the slave master to make sure that he had a better quality of life? Of course not. If you've been exploited by billionaires and you win the class struggle, are you interested in making sure that the ex-billionaire has a fine standard of living? Of course not. The Europeans have worked together against what is good for the majority of humanity for hundreds of years. Therefore, what is bad for Europeans is good for the majority of humanity. Kwame Ture said something similar. He said, what is good for the master is bad for the slave, and what is bad for the master is good for the slave. It's the same thing here. And this is why Europeans will never give up white supremacy. It's the same reason the South would not get rid of slavery, because their economy and their way of life is completely dependent upon white supremacy. It's the basis of their culture. It's the unifying force for Europeans. Their economic system is based on it. Their cultures are based on it. Their religions are based on it. From the perspective of the white race, maintaining white supremacy is a matter of survival for them. And so the majority of the world has to stop acting like they're ever going to give it up. The truth is that it has to be combated. It has to be fought. The power has to be taken. And only through taking the power are things going to get better for humanity.
The second clip of that video got me bleeding. But the truth is this: they can only break us. They can only make us cry. They can only make us feel pains. But are we giving up? Are we even stopping? Will our voices be heard? That is one of the most important things I love about Black Americans. You understand? The system can decide to do whatsoever the system chooses to do with them. But as far as I'm concerned, Black Americans will rise no matter what. I will keep saying it in my videos. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. If it's the first time you're tuning in, do what to subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share for every other person to get this good news. If you haven't subscribed yet, do what to subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share. This video is just for educational purpose. This video is Just to watch, because it's getting to the point whereby these people call the white supremacy, we are in God's hands. Let's go back and watch, and I'll be back with commentaries.
Y'all, I wouldn't be too worried about this war, y'all. I wouldn't be too worried. Because Putin had said that the African Americans are being held hostage in America. You ain't never lie, Putin. You ain't lie. But now it's really crazy because didn't he just put out a picture of a black Jesus? Don't nobody want to hear that though. Don't nobody want to hear that. I've been seeing the comments, reading the comments on that little post, and they over there talk about, no, I wouldn't trust Putin. I'm trusting Putin. Putin, we love you. So if you could, can you please help us African Americans to get out of this country, because we don't like it here. We want to go back to where we belong. And if we belong with you, we'll take that. We'll take that. So Putin, if you can you come pick up all of us at like 9 o'clock on the next Thursday that's about to come up, because we don't like it here. Make sure the ship is big, because there's a lot of us here. There's a lot of us being enslaved. No, I'm just kidding. But not for real.
So being homeless is illegal. Feeding and clothing the homeless is illegal. The rent is astronomically high. Mortgage rates are astronomically high. People can't afford to buy a home. We got to pay student loans back, or they're going to garnish your check, your wages, leading you to be homeless. It's illegal to have roommates, and there are states where it's illegal to have roommates unless they're your family. They don't pay you enough on the job to keep up with the wage of living, a livable wage. Childcare is basically like paying a second mortgage if you have multiple children, or even one. And if you're homeless, you get jailed. Or you're eliminated, because I'm not going to forget what happened in San Francisco where they rounded up all them homeless people and we ain't heard from them since. I'm not going to forget about that. They have millions of illegal immigrants crossing the border, getting bussed out to all the states on our dime. They're giving them housing, food, clothes, money. But if we're homeless, American citizens are homeless, they're giving them child care, they're giving them medical care, education. But if we're homeless because we can't afford to live, food and gas is sky high. I just keep adding things. But homelessness is becoming illegal. So what does that mean? Let's not forget they're building tons of super prisons, these huge state-of-the-art prisons for billions of dollars. I'm telling y'all, they are trying to punish or eliminate the non-compliant parts of society. They are criminalizing everything so that they can lock you up. And the ones that cannot keep up, or the low-tier people, they're either going to eliminate you or lock you up. That is the final goal of slavery. I made a video about this already. Slavery. Slavery for those that are non-compliant. Slavery for those that are at the lower part of the totem pole. Criminalizing everything. And, hold on. Mind you, in Atlanta and other states, they are giving so much more power to the police to arrest you over absolutely nothing if they decide to. They're giving them the choice on their own judgment to arrest you on certain things. And these are big things. If you're outside while they're protesting, they can choose to arrest you. And these are things that are going in a bill to be passed. It's already passed, like the lower Senate, and it's going up to the Supreme Court. And it's not just protesting. It's like a whole plethora of things that are impeding on our freedom of speech and our rights as American citizens terribly. And I do mean terribly. And I'm thinking, where are they going to put all these people? The jails are overcrowded. All of them are overcrowded. Where are they going to put these people? But then I thought, and I said, wait, they're building all these super prisons. That's where they're going to put everybody.
Whew. What's interesting is a part of me is not even worried about what's happening, although I'm deeply disturbed about what's happening. I'm not going to worry about what's happening with DEI and affirmative action, because what it lets me know to be true is that you all today are no different than your ancestors. As much as you try to hide it and as much as you try to run from it, the reality is these corporate heads at Walmart, Target, wherever, these corporate heads in Amazon, these folks who are in charge of hiring practices, The reality is, I want you to like to think with your heart. I want you to dig a little deeper and understand that you all had a 400-year head start. And when Black people got free, you guys, after Reconstruction, we built banks and we built hospitals and we built our own communities. Y'all came and burned those things down. Whether you want to blame the government or just regular white people who were jealous that the Black side of the town was actually better than the white side of town, no matter who you blame, it's the same group of people who burned us down. And it's not just Rosewood and Tulsa. There are so many cities with this same histoire. So many. Oh my God. And the reality is, what I know to be true is that you guys have not changed. Because if anybody actually sit back and think about, wow, we had a 400 years head start, and now Black people are having a little bit of extra nudge up. We are forced to hire them in spaces and give them a chance to be in spaces where we historically have excluded them. We now have to give them a chance at a seat of a table, because they are not only qualified, but they have an intellectual capability and capacity of growth and innovation that has moved this country forward in the first place. You guys are now having to make sure that you don't discriminate against people of color with jobs, federal jobs, private jobs, public jobs, that you guys can't hold us down anymore. That's what DEI was about. People say, it didn't earn it. No, everybody I know who are in somewhere because DEI, the corporation basically said, hey, we know we've made money from Black people. We know we have racist people in our ranks who have kept out Black people. We're going to make sure that we have a corporate policy to ensure that we do not continue to hurt Black people in this way. And for y'all to think that there's something wrong with that says that you are racist. And racist people do what they can to keep Black people at a helm specifically. Racist people do what they can to make sure that people who don't look like them don't make it in life, and their communities die at the helm and die by their hand. You guys need to look into the mirror, take a deep look into the mirror at yourselves, because you are no different than your ancestors. And if you do claim to be different, what are you going to do different? Are you going to withhold a Black person who's qualified from a job from getting that job? DEI didn't even earn it. That's crazy, because we did earn it. And if I see two engineers, I see a Black engineer and a white engineer, I know that Black engineer went through double the trouble to get to where he is with less tools, with less covering from the back, meaning his parents, his grandparents, all of them have striven to get to where they're at. He has had to go through more to be where he is. So he's probably a better bet than this other person who got it real simple and real easy. Y'all are foolish in y'all's thoughts. Oh my God. And every competent work person I know could be of any race, color, and creed. And I myself have hired multiple white people through the years. I didn't discriminate against them because they were white. But y'all have historically discriminated against us. That's why these laws were passed in the first place. That's why these policies were enacted in the first place. And you all deciding to take them away shows that you really want about that life. And you really are someone who want to keep the wealth and everything to white people. And if that's where you at, I want you to stand up and holler about it, honey. Be the racist person that you are. It looks good on you.
Is America the only place where Black people act Black? I'm not trying to generalize Black people, because
that's the thing, isn't it? The reason why we get so much anti-Blackness and resentment from other Black people within the diaspora is because a part of the trauma and indoctrination and assimilation that they have been taught is to dim their Blackness for survival. Because you can go to Black spaces all over the world, and a lot of it is very similar to how Black Americans behave. There are so many connections, except that a lot of these non-American Black people leave their country because it's been so destroyed by colonialism and whiteness. It's been so destroyed that they don't even have a choice a lot of times to stay in their home. So on one hand, you have to recognize that the reason your home is unstable is because of these people, but also you have this level of gratitude to these people for letting you into their countries to escape conditions that they created. And it creates this type of Stockholm syndrome that makes you feel like doing whatever you have to do to survive is acceptable. The people who should be most respected are the people willing to do anything for their survival. Even if it means dimming their own light, shrinking themselves, and damn near cleansing themselves of their own culture. And here we are, these loud and boisterous and proud and flashy Black Americans who do not apologize for what they are, who do not think that they should have to assimilate in order to survive, who take pride in their experience as Black Americans without acquiescing or succumbing to the lesser culture. People become their code switch in other places for the sake of survival because they want to be perceived as good. They want to be perceived as successful. And they have been indoctrinated to believe that in order to do so, they have to put their culture down. They have to put their Blackness down. And we do not subscribe to that, which is why I often say, if you would just put your insecurities and your jealousy down for a moment, there's a lot you can learn from Black Americans about whiteness. What a lot of these people did in other countries, they did behind the scenes. And they pushed out puppets to do their dirty work. And so now you blame your own brothers, your own sisters for what they are doing behind the scenes. But in America, there was nobody to hide behind. So Black people got a up close and personal look at whiteness. We got to dissect it. We understand it in a way that I think a lot of other people within the diaspora do not. Black people within the diaspora go to other countries and they have to figure out how to fit within the culture of that country so that they won't stand out as like a sore thumb, because it heightens their chances of survival. It heightens their chances of being able to thrive there by just fitting in and assimilating to whatever the culture is. Black Americans differ in that the culture of this country has assimilated itself to us. Whatever you consider American pop culture is just Black culture. Us standing firm and unapologetically in who we are has made it so that these people are now imitating us. And not just here, this is globally. There is power in unapologetic Blackness. You're afraid of your own Blackness in a lot of cases. And because you're afraid of it, you see our behavior as a threat to you too.
Hold them captive for years, keep them, do whatsoever you want to do with them. You see Black people, they are very strong. You see Black people, they are one people that I see and I respect so much. I'm Black, do not get me wrong. But you see Black Americans, they are one unshakable people that no matter what you do, it is as good as you're even making them more stronger. Guys, let's go back and watch the remaining clips I have. Then I'll be back with commentaries.
Arguably, one of the biggest problems that we as Black people have to deal with is the fact that a lot of Black people are still mentally enslaved and they don't even realize it. And what I mean by that is this. Whenever someone presents a new idea or new path to progress or talks about new possibilities for the collective, those who are quick to talk about why it won't work, call it a fantasy, say it's not realistic, give you every social and economic reason as to why it's not possible, tell you that Black people aren't as unified as we used to be, so it just won't work. Those are the people that are still mentally enslaved and don't even realize it. And my thing on it is this. You can't talk about progress and throw in the word impossible as well. It's like oil and water. It don't mix. Also, progress doesn't equal perfection. We all saw Black Panther. Wakanda had its own problems. They had their own internal conflicts as well. But what we can all agree on is that shit is way better than our current circumstances, and that's what it's all about. And for us to get to where we want to be or to our idea of the promised land, we're going to have to do some shit we ain't never done before. And we're going to have to be open to new ideas and new ways of thinking. We're going to have to take a leap of faith. We don't have nothing to lose. We can't keep recycling our old concepts and thinking that's going to get us to where we want to be. We know it won't. We can take old concepts and update them for modern times. But that's exactly what we have to do. We can't copy and paste that shit and think we're going to get the same results like it's 1965, because shit just not going to work. And it's not necessarily about the action. It's about the collective mind shift. Everybody always want to talk about, oh, we don't have this or we don't have that. Well, let's focus on what we do have. Let's start there. We are the smartest people on this fucking planet, bro. Yet it's so hard for us to really believe in that we can have better. We owe it to ourselves to believe in that shit. We need to be open to that. Being Black means to be a visionary. We wouldn't be to where we are today without it.
These cab drivers do not drive Black people, and they're Black. They're Black, they're Indian. They will not let me get in the cab. Look at this. Get the tags. They will not drive me. You drive Black people? I'm in DC. Can I get I'm out here. I'm trying to get a cab to go see a show. You saw the white people in the car. You drive Black people?
No, you get into that car. That's the first car. That's the first car. Stop taking pictures.
That's the first car? Turn it to him? Okay. You drive Black people?
I don't know where you come from. But you don't ask whether they're Black people. People are here to go to the cab and go into the car. That's all you got to do. He's next. Go there and
go over here to him? Okay.
Don't ask about whether the car.
You drive Black people? You drive Black people? Are you driving Black people today? No? Will you take me to where I need to go? What's that?
What is this?
I'm trying to get a cab. Can you drive me to where I need to go? Ask who? I've asked 3 cab drivers. You won't drive me? The dispatcher? The dispatcher? Oh, so you got white people. You got white people over here. White people get cabs. So white people are getting cabs before me in Washington, D.C. This is real shit. You can see it. You see that? They told me to go over here to him. He has no idea what I'm saying. And what about that guy?
I am begging people to please stop bringing up Black oppression in the Americas when people are talking about Palestine. We are not facing what the people...
Black oppression wouldn't have been mentioned if people were not minimizing the oppression we go through in the U.S. in the first place. If creators would stop coming on the internet and minimizing Black Americans' oppression in the U.S., the conversation wouldn't have been had in the first place. You understand what I'm telling you? When you got people in the pro-Pally movement coming on the internet saying that, I don't think they realize, maybe it's intentional or unintentional, you're giving racist white folks the green light to also continue to minimize Black folks' oppression in the United States of America. Hell, the world. It's going to continue to be minimized. We understand that Black Americans and people of color in general in America are not having bombs rained on them. We know that. But we're going through a different kind of oppression. We're not saying it's better or worse than what's going on in Gaza, but it's still oppression nonetheless. And it's oppression that the world, once again, is asking us to put in the back burner. That's all the world has ever done, was told Black people, hey, not right now, not right now. We need your help for this, though. We need your help for this, though. We'll get to you. We'll get to you. People will always say they will get to us and never got to us. We always had to stick it out the mud and get it out the mud on our own. And that's where the disconnect is. So sorry that we're not having bombs rain on our head, but we still going through some crazy stuff out here, especially Black women, Black cis women, Black trans women, indigenous people. We still got it rough out here, bro.
If Black people were enslaved for 246 years, there should immediately be an executive order for the next 246 years that Black people don't got to pay no taxes. There is a home ownership grant given, and education, higher education should be free for Black people, okay? This is the greatest, most fair plan to level the playing field, because the three ways that Black people were affected the most because of like from slavery is in poverty, the wealth gaps. We literally gave free labor, ownership, home ownership, redlining, discrimination in the bank system, and education. Literally weren't allowed to go. So it makes all the sense to repair the harm that you caused. And I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about America, the government, the law that allowed these things to happen. This is the perfect reparation.
They got white names, you know what I mean? Like, maybe like something Thompson, you know what I mean?
You know what's funny about this is that majority of Africans in Africa will either have an English name or an Arabic name. I went to a school that had close to 500 people altogether, and me and my younger sister were the only ones that I was aware of that had indigenous names, Sukuma names. Self-hate and having an identity crisis is such a huge pandemic in Africa that you as an African should not be out here talking about African Americans, people that you don't even understand or know about. And the last thing is, if you aren't properly knowledgeable on the reasons why African Americans live the way they do today, then you just shouldn't talk about it. African Americans have gone through 500 years of oppression. They've managed to free themselves, build up their communities, make their own cultures that you also participate in. For you to go out of your way and have a caption like that, it's just a slap in the face to African Americans.
That's what you said. You said you don't like my color. That's what you said. You called me bastard. You called me bloody bastard. That is what you said. And I'm assuming you're going to post it on the internet. You're bloody racist. I am filming you right away. You're on my camera. No, I am filming you. I can apologize. You said you don't like my color. You called me bloody bastard. I heard you. That was what you said. I can apologize. So I am filming you. I'm going to post it on the internet. Let me tell you his name.
Subgroup within the Black community so attached to the past that they treat progress like betrayal. And if your healing threatens their identity, you become the enemy before they even question the wound. They idolize degradation, offended by everything, ashamed of nothing, and proud to live behind the stereotype meant to dehumanize them. And anyone who refuses to scream pain or echo their script becomes the target. And these same people will walk around calling each other kings and queens while wearing crowns made of fantasy, passing off the title like a participation trophy, then worships the same system that they claim oppresses them, calling it injustice while living off its handouts. And don't forget, if you're calm, composed, or articulate, they'll tell you you're trying to be something you're not. Oh, tell me, who's the real racist? The one holding the whip or the one guarding the plantation gates now?
Sometimes I ask myself questions like, why do Black people need to suffer as much as they are suffering in America? I ask myself, why do they have to still keep going through the same thing over and over again? You know, someone actually make a particular statement, And right now, I'm seeing reasons why that person actually made that particular statement. The person said, he said, slavery started a long time ago and slavery has never ended. That is what the person said. The person said, no matter how hard they are trying to make it look as if slavery is not in this modern days, is a lie. The only thing that they've just done is they have polished it so that it will not look as it was before, which is in the olden days. But right now in this modern days, it is even more worse. It's even more worse than the olden days, because during the olden days, the black people already know that, okay, the white people are already coming to like enslave us, trade us. They already know what they are going through. But these recent days, they are not coming directly to show that this is what they're going, but you're even going through more hell than what you've been going through before. Black people, you will arise, oh, no matter how it's gonna be. I so much believe in black Americans. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm saying this. I don't know why I'm saying this. But I so much believe in black Americans to the point that I know that there is nothing that you are going to do that will make them stop talking. There is nothing you're going to do that will make them stop voicing out. There is nothing you're going to do that will make them say, oh, enough is enough. We are not doing again. They will keep pushing. They will keep striving. They will keep doing what they know how to do best. And that is it. That is black Americans for you. See, I don't know why I don't know why I keep saying this right in my videos. In as much as I'm black, you see these black American people, I admire them so much because these people have gone through hell. These people have gone through fire. Like, okay, tell me which other fire you want to use and burn them that they've not been burnt before. Tell me what other things you want to actually do to them that they have not seen before. Tell me the situation they are going through right now that they have not gone before. The second clip I played on my video, did you watch what that guy actually said? It was like a hit and run. And it was a white person that actually hit his own uncle and ran away. And nothing is being done about it. Just like that. Now tell me that if it were to be reversed is the case, will nothing be done about it? Will nothing? The blacks keep getting oppressed. The blacks keep getting this, their systematic buhaha. For how long? For how long? And that is why when they see us do videos, they come to the comment section and be like, why are you even talking about American? Why don't you go talk about your people? Because Americans, black American voices need to be heard. And they are not the only one that will make it being heard, right? We are also going to help them make their voices being heard, whether you like it or not. It is sad. It is sad, and I really felt the pains. Look at the videos I played. Look at pains coming out from these videos. Things that have happened over and over again keep repeating itself as if we don't know what we are doing. After being denied of your roots, after being enslaved, after being given so much atrocities at the end of the day, you... Let me know what you think in the comment section, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your opinion is in the comment section. Like I said, this video is just for educational purpose. And every video that stitches used in this episode credit belongs to original creators of this video. If you've not subscribed, subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments. And lastly, do not forget to share for every other person to get this video. And yes, with no further ado, I'm going to be saying bye. I'll see you guys in my next one, guys. For now, bye. Or sometimes, we just better reserve our comments.